David Hertel in for Aaron and Natasha. Well, as promised, happy to talk again to the Quebec Liberal Party leader, Dominique Anglade. Welcome to the show, Dominique.
Well, thank you, David, and really happy to be on the show, and hello to all the listeners.
Great to have you. So before we get into the usual conversations about Bill 96, I think you have a little bit of news. You sent a letter, I think, to the English consortiums of media about an English language debate.
Exactly. We wanted to have an English debate during the campaign, the electoral campaign. And as you know, David, the Premier said, François Legault said, well, no, I don't have enough time. I don't have time to do an English debate, although he did one in 2018. So I said, okay, he doesn't have the time. Let's do it before the election. I'm available between now and whenever we start the election to do a debate. And I strongly encourage the consortium to proceed with that and invite all the leaders, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that those debates happen, that people know what each party has to offer. So
you just sent this letter today, I understand.
That's right.
Yeah.
We just sent it. It's off the press. It's just sent out, and we're asking the consortium to consider that alternative. And again, I was really surprised when François Legault said he didn't have time, because we all going to find the time to do this. Mm-hmm. But if it's time that's missing, well, there's time during the summer, and I'm available.
Well, actually, it's quite clever, I got to say, because not only he went back using Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon's excuse, saying that the common language is French. Well, there's like over 1 million Quebecers that speak English as their first language. And I think, as you said, François Legault participated in the English debate in 2018. So saying he doesn't have time to prepare, you're right, maybe he does have time. Did you have any type of conversations with the consortium or with other parties before you sent the letter, or is this your own initiative?
So it is our initiative, and there are obviously with the consortium there are always conversations with the parties, but it is our initiative. Okay. And when you say he had the time to do it back in 2018, it's all about values. It's fundamentally about values. I believe that we should talk to a maximum of people in a campaign, because it is a necessity for people to understand where we stand, what we stand for, what are going to be the ideas for healthcare to support people, what are going to be the ideas for the economy, for language. I mean, all those questions are really fundamental, and I think it's our duty as elected officials to do that. As MNA, we do this. We represent every single person, regardless whether they voted for us or not. And I think that's the responsibility of the leaders of the parties as well to do so.
Speaking with Quebec Liberal leader Dominique Anglade. Dominique, so I'm sure you saw Philippe Autier's piece in the Gazette this morning talking about Liberal seats up for grabs, or asking the question if they really are up for grabs. And there's been a lot of conversations on CJD, a lot of listeners talking about, with everything that happened with the way the Liberals handled the amendment on CJEPs and everything that's been going on. But over the last week, your presence at the protest with a lot of Liberal MNAs and candidates, that sent a strong message. You're going on the offensive. What do you say to the English-speaking community of Quebec about, especially to those Anglophones who are hesitating, talking about Éric Duhem, talking about the two other parties, feeling that, you talked about reconnecting. What do you need to do or to say to these Anglophones that are listening right now?
Well, to meet with them, to have conversations with them. I mean, at the end of the day, what do we want for Quebec? We want a modern Quebec. We want a Quebec that is inclusive, that is standing up for everybody's right. And I'll remind you, David, that when it was time to stand up for the rights of every Quebecer, whether it was Bill 40 on school boards, whether it was Bill 21 on wearing a religious signs, or whether it's Bill 96, we stood up and we voted against those laws because it's not inclusive. And that's a message that is very strong. It's part of our core values, the fundamental values of the Liberal Party. And I'm telling everybody, I'm not taking anything for granted. But at the end of the day, we need to have a strong voice, a very united voice to face the CAQ, and that voice is the Liberal Party of Quebec.
So, but again, the idea, there seems to be, Dominique, some maybe a trust issue or something that seems to be missing about the level of enthusiasm within the Anglophone community about voting Liberal. You have Éric Duhem coming out and say, well, we've been against 96 since the beginning. Look at us. You've got the two parties, the two little smaller parties that are talking about Anglophone rights. I need to understand better here, what's the case for the Liberals to say to the Anglophones, saying, okay, we will be your party this time around again?
Well, to me, we have to talk about what has been accomplished. We are sitting at the National Assembly. We are voting on bills that are critical for the community. As I said, Bill 40 or Bill 21. I mean, those are critical bills, and we stood up for that. Now, there are other parties. They will have to present a whole platform. But at the end, what do you want? What do you want Quebec to be? Do you want to unite people, or do we want to divide people? François Legault right now is dividing people between city and regions, dividing people between Anglophones and Francophones or Allophones, and making moves that are not constructive, that are really dividing the population. The Liberal Party will never do that. We're not about dividing people. Other parties might be. We're not about that. And I think that's the message that we need to send loud and clear. And we're doing an event next week. We're going to be hosting town halls. We're going to be talking to people, but not only talking, David, listening to people, listening to the frustration, listening to what these issues are. I think it's important to do that exercise as well. The listening portion, and after the fact, it's really to vote against things that really don't make sense.
A lot of people are watching very closely who you're going to pick or who the party picks as candidates in the three mainly Anglophone ridings. There's NDG, there's Darcy McGee, and there's also Robert Baldwin, all three formerly held by, respectively, Kathleen Weil, of course, David Birnbaum, and Carlos Leitao, who are all three of them are not running again. When are those announcements coming, Dominique?
Well, so not the announcements that you just made. They're not. They haven't been made.
Well, there's a lot of buzz that those three aren't coming back.
Around this. There's a lot of rumors around this. But you should see, in terms of announcements. I mean, you should see some news in the next week. I mean, the election is still coming until August, so we still have time to announce, but I can guarantee you, we made some announcements already with Montréal Autrement with Michel Setlacoué. We did with Acadie with André Morin, as we did with Fred Beauchemin in Marguerite Bourgeois. So we did a number of announcements. Now there will be more coming. There will be more coming.
With a few,
it's going to be also. It's a generation of new leaders. The people that have been there, that have been involved with the Liberal Party, they're not going away. They're going to be there as references. They're going to be there to participate. They're going to be members. But it's also an opportunity to renew the party. So these also are exciting times for the party.
I can't let you go without asking your reaction to the College of Physicians open letter this afternoon, coming out very strongly against what François Legault said about the quality of care that will be seriously affected for Anglophones and Allophones. And also to that, Dominique, I'd like your take on, with the last few weeks remaining in the session and Bill 96 not yet adopted, I mean, what are the Liberals planning to do on these critical issues on health care with Bill 96, on search and seizures, and all these remaining questions that have even been raised in the French media over the past few days?
Well, we've been raising those concerns. We've been raising those questions. We've been asking questions. So again, we're going to continue doing the job in the job as the official opposition. But we have to have François Legault that wants to listen, that wants to explain. If he's serious about the fact that there's no impact, well, why doesn't he come to CJAD and explain it? Mm-hmm. Why doesn't he do an open line? People can ask questions, and why doesn't he answer those questions? I mean, at the end of the day, he needs to be responsible for the bill that he's passing. So my opinion on this is that we will keep doing the job that we're doing, not only asking questions, but bringing those amendments. But at the end of the day, he needs to answer those questions that are critical for the population. Like, again, we're not in a position right now in Quebec where we can divide people. We really need to unite people, and that's definitely not what he's doing.
Well, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the Premier reacts to now. I mean, you have the organization whose sole mission is to protect patients and protect the integrity of the medical profession, saying that Bill 96 is a problem. So I hope you will stay on the Premier in the National Assembly over the next few weeks. Thank you so much, Dominique Anglade, for joining us this afternoon.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure anytime.
Take care and have a great weekend. That was Quebec Liberal Party leader Dominique Anglade.